In the digital age, secrets leave traces. Every text, every search, every deleted photo, nothing truly disappears. This is the story of how technology exposed a deadly secret, how an algorithm solved a murder, and how digital breadcrumbs led straight to a killer. December 3rd, 2021, Phoenix, Arizona. Sarah Mitchell, 38, was found dead in her home office. Single gunshot wound. Her husband, David, called 911 at 9:47 p.m. But this murder wasn't solved by fingerprints or witnesses. It was solved by an AI, a machine that never forgets, a system that sees everything.
Sarah and David Mitchell looked perfect online, and in 2021, online is all that matters. 10 years married, no kids, 2 successful careers. Sarah was a data analyst at a tech startup. David ran a successful digital marketing agency. Their Instagram had 12,000 followers. Hashtag couple goals, hashtag power couple, hashtag living our best life. Beautiful vacation photos in Santorini, trendy restaurant check-ins, gym selfies, date nights at rooftop bars. Every post carefully curated, every caption perfectly crafted. But behind the filtered photos and curated stories, behind the smiling faces and romantic sunsets, their marriage was dying. Slowly, painfully, silently. The cracks were invisible to their followers, but they were there, growing wider every day. Her name was Alexis Reeves, 29 years old, marketing coordinator at David's agency. She'd been working there for 8 months. It started innocently enough: overtime projects, strategy sessions, working dinners. By March 2021, they were using encrypted messaging apps, Snapchat, Signal, apps where messages disappear after being read. Or so they thought. What David didn't know, his iPhone was backing up everything to iCloud. Every photo, every message, every deleted conversation. The cloud never forgets. And Sarah had access to the family iCloud account. Every secret, every lie, every intimate moment, all stored in the digital cloud, waiting to be discovered. For David, these were temporary messages, vanishing evidence, digital smoke that left no trace. But technology had other plans. November 14th, 2021. Sarah was working late when she needed to access a shared document from David's cloud storage. That's when she saw it. A folder, hidden, buried deep in random business files, labeled client_assets_2021. An innocent name, a deadly secret. Inside, hundreds of photos, intimate messages, hotel receipts from luxury properties, romantic getaways, everything. The entire affair, documented and automatically backed up by technology David thought he controlled. Sarah didn't confront him immediately. Instead, she did what data analysts do best. She documented everything. She built a case. For 2 weeks, Sarah worked in silence, screenshots, downloaded files, created backups on external drives. She even used advanced recovery software to retrieve deleted Snapchat photos from his phone's local cache, photos he thought were gone forever. She organized everything in spreadsheets, dates, locations, expenses, evidence types, a complete digital dossier of betrayal. On November 28th, she scheduled a meeting with a divorce attorney. December 5th was the consultation. She was going to take everything: the house, the business, his reputation. She never made it to that meeting. December 3rd, 2021, a Friday night. David came home from work at 6:30 p.m.
Security footage shows his car pulling into the garage at exactly 6:47 p.m. Sarah was in her home office, door closed, headphones on, working on a project, or perhaps organizing her evidence, planning her next move. At 9:47 p.m., everything changed. David called 911, his voice panicked, desperate. "My wife! Someone shot my wife! Please, you have to help!" The call lasted 4 minutes. Police arrived to find Sarah dead in her office chair, single gunshot to the back of the head, execution style. David was sitting on the front lawn, crying, his white shirt covered in her blood. The gun was found in the backyard, a 9mm Glock registered to David, wiped completely clean, no fingerprints, not even partials. David's story seemed straightforward. He was in the garage organizing tools. He heard a loud bang, ran inside, found Sarah slumped in her chair. He touched her, tried to help, got blood on his clothes. He didn't see anyone leave. There was no forced entry, nothing stolen, no signs of a struggle. It seemed like a professional hit, random, senseless, but Detective Maria Santos had been doing this job for 15 years, and something didn't feel right.
Detective Maria Santos specialized in digital forensics. She knew that in 2021, everyone leaves a digital trail. Every click, every call, every movement tracked by the devices we carry. She got a warrant for all of David and Sarah's devices, phones, laptops, tablets, smartwatches, smart home devices, everything. The forensic team extracted the data. That's when Detective Santos found it. On Sarah's laptop, in a password-protected folder, the affair evidence, the hidden iCloud folder, the screenshots, the hotel receipts, the recovery software. Everything Sarah had discovered, everything she was planning to use against David in divorce court. Motive, clear, powerful, devastating. But Detective Santos went further. She used cutting-edge AI-powered forensic software to analyze David's digital behavior patterns. The AI scanned thousands of data points, phone usage, app activity, location data, search history. The algorithm looked for anomalies, deviations from normal patterns, and it found something. On December 3rd, between 8 and 9:30 p.m., David's phone showed highly unusual behavior. Phone switched to airplane mode at 8:17 p.m., stayed offline until 9:35 p.m., 8 minutes after the 911 call. Deleted Google searches from November 30th. How long until gunshot residue disappears from hands? How to remove forensic evidence from a crime scene? Does rain wash away gunpowder residue? He'd used specialized software to delete these searches, but the AI found fragments in the phone's cache memory, digital ghosts that couldn't be erased. Then came the breakthrough, the piece of evidence that would seal David's fate. Sarah and David had a Google Nest Hub in the kitchen, a smart display with a camera, a device that records audio constantly, listening for wake words and voice commands. The AI analyzed the audio logs from December 3rd. At 9:23 p.m., it captured something David never knew existed, a conversation, an argument, Sarah's last words. "You're going to destroy everything. You destroyed us. You destroyed our marriage, our life. Sarah, please put the laptop down." Bang! His voice, her voice, the argument, the gunshot, all captured in crystal clear digital audio by the device sitting on their kitchen counter. The device he'd walked past 100 times. The device he'd forgotten was always listening. December 15th, 2021. Detective Santos brought David Mitchell in for questioning. She sat across from him in the interrogation room, cold, sterile, fluorescent lights humming overhead. She didn't lead with the audio. That was her ace. Instead, she started with the affair evidence, laid out the printed screenshots of romantic texts, the hotel receipts.
Then came the deleted searches, the airplane mode, the suspicious timing. David tried to explain each one away, his voice confident, almost convincing. The phone must have glitched. Those searches were for a client project. We were consulting on a crime documentary. I always put my phone in airplane mode when I'm working in the garage. The signal interferes with my tools. Each lie delivered smoothly, practiced. But Detective Santos just watched him, waiting. Then, Detective Santos opened her laptop, turned it toward David, and pressed play. The audio filled the room. His voice, Sarah's voice, the anger, the pain, the confrontation, the gunshot. For 10 seconds, David stared at the laptop screen. His face went pale, the color draining like water down a sink. His hands started shaking, small tremors at first, then violent. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His carefully constructed story collapsed, and David Mitchell confessed everything. He'd discovered that Sarah knew about the affair. He'd found her evidence folder on her laptop while she was in the shower, saw the lawyer's contact information, the appointment scheduled for December 5th. He knew what was coming. Alexis had been pressuring him to leave Sarah, threatening to expose the affair herself if he didn't. But David's entire business was built on his image, the married marketing guru, the relationship expert. A messy, public divorce with proof of infidelity would destroy everything. That night, David confronted Sarah. He demanded she delete everything, forget the divorce, give him another chance. But Sarah refused. She was done with the lies, done with the betrayal. She told him she was taking everything, the house they'd bought together, half of his business. She'd post everything online, ruin his reputation, destroy his agency, make sure everyone knew what kind of man he really was. David went to his office, opened his safe, got his gun. When he came back, Sarah was on her phone, calling her lawyer, moving up the appointment. He raised the gun. She turned, saw him, and in that final moment, he pulled the trigger. He shot her, wiped the gun with a microfiber cloth from his car detailing kit, threw it in the backyard, changed his bloody shirt, called 911, and played the role of the devastated husband. But he couldn't delete the truth. The trial lasted 6 weeks. Every major news outlet covered it. The prosecution's case relied almost entirely on digital evidence, the deleted searches that the AI recovered, the phone patterns showing airplane mode during the murder, the cloud backups revealing the affair and Sarah's divorce plans, and most damning of all, the smart home audio. The jury heard Sarah's final words, heard David's voice, heard the gunshot. An AI forensics expert testified for 2 days, explaining to the jury how modern technology works, how it's impossible to truly delete anything in the digital age, how our phones track our every movement, how our smart homes record our every word, how the cloud stores everything forever, how AI can find patterns humans would miss. The defense argued temporary insanity, extreme emotional disturbance. They painted David as a victim of his own panic, a man who made a terrible mistake in a moment of fear. But the evidence told a different story. The searches 3 days before the murder, the airplane mode, the wiped gun, the changed shirt, the performance for the 911 operator. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was calculated, premeditated, murder in the first degree. October 17, 2022. After 4 days of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Guilty. First-degree murder. The courtroom erupted. Sarah's family sobbed. David showed no emotion, just stared straight ahead. 2 weeks later, the judge handed down the sentence. Life in prison, no possibility of parole. David Mitchell would spend the rest of his life in a cell thinking about the smart home device he'd forgotten, the algorithm that never forgot.
Sarah Mitchell's family said the technology that solved her murder would have horrified her. Sarah was intensely private, careful about what she shared online. She hated surveillance culture, hated the idea of being constantly watched and recorded. She would cover her laptop camera with tape, turn off her phone's location services, delete her browsing history obsessively. But that same technology she feared, that same digital surveillance she tried to avoid, that same algorithmic monitoring she despised, caught her killer. Detective Maria Santos now travels the country training other departments on AI-powered digital forensics. She uses this case as her primary example, shows the deleted searches, the smart home audio, the iCloud backups. The case became a blueprint for how to investigate murders in the digital age. Alexis Reeves quit her job 2 days after David's arrest, deleted all her social media accounts, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything. She moved to another state, changed her phone number, started over completely. But the damage was done. Her name, her face, her role in this tragedy, forever preserved in court documents, news articles, YouTube videos. The internet never forgets. This case reminds us, in the digital age, nothing is truly private. Every click leaves a trace, every word is recorded, every secret is backed up somewhere in the cloud. The algorithm knew, and it never forgets. Technology didn't just connect us, it now holds us accountable. For better or worse, we live in a world where everything is documented, everything is tracked, everything is remembered. This is a completely fictional story, created with AI for entertainment purposes only, but the technology, that's all real.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos.